So now we are about to start our financial freedom workshop. I'm going to turn it over to our guest.
Good afternoon, church. I'm happy to be back home and to be in you guys' presence. It's good to see familiar faces. Can you hear me? Yes. It's good? Okay. Act like an MC. I keep it close. But it's really good to be back home, to be able to bring this wealth of knowledge that I've learned in California. I don't know if a lot of you know, but I moved to California. So part of me being a part of this company and wanting to bring back home this knowledge, and the reason as to why I got started was because when I moved to California, I did move to California, I was very stressed, I was very depressed. And you know, when you're home, you're comfortable. You know, so for me personally, I needed to get out of my comfort zone. And moving to California was that for me. When I went to college, I got my degree in broadcast and integrated media. So California was that place for me to have entertainment, be able to continue directing and producing. And that's what I did when I moved out there, directing and producing independently, music videos, short films, and commercials. But I realized while being in that industry that it's a dog-eat-dog world. And me being a Christian woman, me being in that industry, it didn't help for me to be helpful to others. It didn't allow for me to support my daughter. It didn't allow for me to support myself. So when I moved, I also had to leave my daughter here. I traveled back and forth, but I didn't want to bring my daughter with me until I got acclimated into California. And in that industry, I realized that not that it wasn't the industry for me, but I needed something, another stream of income for myself. And when I got introduced to this company, I seen the wealth of knowledge that not only that I can gain for myself, but that I can bring back to the community as a whole. So how I got presented to, back in California, my church is Bishop Noel Jones City of Refuge. That's where I go to church at. And one of his security guards, you know, came to me and said, you know, this is what we're doing. We're giving out this wealth of knowledge, and I was looking for a place that would allow for me to put something in place for myself and for my daughter in the future, especially because I was doing everything independently. I didn't have a company that was going to give me a 401k or anything of that nature. And me being a millennial, they don't really offer those features to you. So long story short, I ended up coming into this company and getting a great wealth of knowledge, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. I want to thank Pastor Mosley for allowing me to be able to come in along with my business partners, Tish and her mom, Anita, because, you know, it's very helpful when you have the open hand from, you know, your church members to say, thank you for allowing us to come in. So it's my pleasure for me to speak to you guys today. It's an honor. So today our workshop is based on build and protect wealth. So the name of the company that we work for is World Financial Group. We were bought by a company by the name of Aegon.
A little more. There we go.
Hold on, I'm about to line myself.
Yeah, good.
Sound good? Okay. So the name of the company that bought us is Aegon. They decided to also buy a well-named company by the name of Transamerica. So Transamerica is a name that everybody knows for pretty much, you know. People have their 401k in there, and so they're our sister company. So it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry backed by a multi-billion-dollar company. And so WFG is a marketing aspect. So we can do we have four major platforms. So one of the major platforms that we have is, no, not one of the major platforms, excuse me. We are a non-captive company. So some companies are captive. So say, for example, if you go to a State Farm or an Allstate, they can only offer you Allstate or State Farm. But because we are a marketing company, we can offer you anything from 200 plus companies. So some of the companies that we work for are something like Nationwide is on your side. Everybody kind of knows that, you know. Gerber, Prudential, Voya, any company that you're looking for. Everest is another one as well that we can offer to you guys. Then, because we have 4 major platforms, we also have our insurance agency platform, so we have dozens of life, annuity, disability, and long-term care companies. And that part I really like to hit on because I was blessed enough to be able to have 2 fathers. And you guys all know Leon, but I also have another dad by the name of Derek. And about 3 or 4 months ago, he got an aneurysm. So with him having an aneurysm, it really put us in a shock. And if we had something attached with his policy or something in place that had long-term care, we would be able to have some money that could replace his income to help my stepmom out. And so that really hit home for me and really woke me up, because now I have to step in to be able to pay, you know, certain bills for my dad, or be able to help my sister that's graduating from high school. So little things like that, I'm like, hey, long-term care is something that's important, and it doesn't cost $1 million. So with the education and just having the knowledge is something that's very important. Then our next platform is our broker-dealer platform. So that we have a full spectrum of security-related products and services such as mutual funds, variable life insurance, and retirement solutions. So we're able to help anybody that needs those, any solutions when it relates to retirement and annuities as well, if you're looking for some place to place your money. Then our last platform is our wealth management platform. So say, for example, you have a little bit of extra money on the side, and you're like, hey, you know, what do I do with it? You know, where do I want to put it? We can either put you with a third-party money market manager, and as little as $10. So we allow for you to play in the field if you have that extra playing room for yourself, if you would like that. So most people, current situations, too many people are underprotected and living with too much debt, Then the next is not being able to save, or they are not clear understanding why or how much and what the ultimate goal is. So, in order for you to get to some place that you want to be financially, you have to have a plan. Then often just too busy and too distracted to stay on top of things. Time passes us by. We're 25, and then by the time we know it, we're 40 and we still didn't do anything. Then you don't have a strategy, or you don't make enough money and you're not sure what to do about it. So when you're not sure about what to do, sometimes you just don't do anything. So the way that you're able to do something is that we do a financial needs analysis for you. It's complimentary. So we look at your cash flow, how much money you have coming in. Do you need to make additional income? Then we also look at your debt management, consolidating debt, strive to eliminate debt. Pastor Mosley is going to have the forms when it relates to the credit repair forms as well towards the end. Then we also have proper protection, protect against loss of income, and protect family assets. Like for example, my dad, when he was in the hospital and out for 3 months, how was my stepmom going to be able to have the income that he had? How is it going to be able to be replaced? Then we also have an emergency fund. So we strive to get our clients to be anywhere between 1 to 6 months of an emergency, just your wants and your needs. Do you have an emergency fund set for yourself if you had an emergency? 9 times out of 10, a lot of people, they don't have money for an emergency. Usually if you have your car breaks down, you have a tire problem, if you have some money set aside, that's not an emergency. It's just you have a solution for that problem. But some people don't even have that. And then we also have asset accumulation, outpacing inflation and minimizing taxation, and then also professional money management. A lot of people, they're trying to figure out how they're not able to catch up. A lot of people are trying to catch up or save more money. That's because of that inflation rate every year. It's 3%. So a lot of people don't take that into account when it relates to your 401k or just retirement in general. And then we also have estate preservation, reducing estate taxes, building a family legacy. So does everybody know who Aretha Franklin and Prince is? Okay, great. So both of them died. They had a lot of money, but they didn't have an estate in place. So half of that money is going to the state, and the other half is in probate for their family to fight for, which their family probably won't see for years, if at all, because she didn't have neither of them had anything in place for their families to be able to be taken care of. So now we have, we like to say to pay yourself first. So say, for example, we have something to save early. So I'm going to say that Pastor Mosley is Mr. Save Early. At, is that clear? Can y'all see that clear? Or is it okay? Okay, it's okay. Let's say Pastor Mosley is 25. He decided to put $3,600 a year for 7 years into an 8% tax-deferred account. That's about $300 a month. And for about 7 years, at the age of 31, for whatever reason, he got a new home, he had more kids, he decided to stop paying into that account that he had. So that money's sitting there and it's growing. So at the age of 48, he was still able to accumulate about $128,000 and only contributing $25,000. So I'm gonna be Mr. Wait Longer. I decided to start at the age of 32 and put $300 away a month, $3,600 a year for 70 years in an 8% tax deferred account. 7 years later than Mr. Start Early. So in that aspect, at the age of 48, I contributed, I got $131,000 into my account. Is that a big difference between $128,000 and $131,000 17 years later? No, it's not that much difference. So, but it took me 3 times longer than he did. So I had to contribute $21,200. So the goal is, $61,200. So I had to put in 3 times the amount that he did because I decided to procrastinate and wait long. So the goal is pretty much just the procrastination is one of the main causes of failure. So just start as soon as you can. Don't wait, don't hesitate. So now I'm going to bring up my business partner, Senior Marketing Director, Tish. Her background is in law enforcement, and I'm going to let her tell her story.
Let's go ahead and give her a hand. I'm so proud of her. Seeing her grow up, start talking, doing her presentations. A little nervous, but you're adorable. I love it. How you guys doing? Great, great. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out to get some education on finance. Pastor, thank you for having us come out here. I am from California, so this is my first time in New York. So thank you for the hospitality. I love it out here so far. It's only been a few hours, but I like it. You know, first impression, right? So right. Good. It's real good. But just to tell you guys a little bit about myself, so, you know, we feel like, you know, nice and cozy together, right? Reason why I started educating people on finances and whatnot, our motto is pretty much no family left behind. And growing up, my parents were left behind. My father, he owned a few businesses over in Slauson and Crenshaw district. So I grew up seeing him have his businesses, everything working right. But by him having those businesses in the wrong neighborhood per se, it wasn't on Wall Street, it wasn't on New York Stock Exchange, you could not buy into his businesses. It was pager shops, rim shops, jewelry shops. So he wasn't on the radar for anyone to knock on the door and say, hey, let me show you where to put your money. Hey, let me show you what to do with your money so you can leave a legacy for your children. Because he had a shop for each child. So he had 5 different businesses for all of us. For some reason, he thought we wanted to take over that business. We did not. But the heart was in the right place, right? But the market, you know, the industry didn't do, actually industry did well, but we're not from a mom and pop store. So of course, thinking about the brick phone and pagers and flip phones and all that kind of stuff. So therefore, he could not stay ahead of the market where the cell phone just blew up, right? So therefore, his shops had to close. So what happens? Some of the kids didn't get those certain businesses, right? But if someone would have knocked on the door and told him, hey, let me show you where to put your money, let me show you how things work, let me show you how to have tax-free money growing and things of that nature, then no matter what happens with the businesses, he would have still been able to have the money, he would still been able to have a legacy for his children. But now in his golden years, you know, he's 61 now, he would have been able to retire and still live off of the money that's growing, but no one educated him. So therefore now he went back to plumbing that he was taught from my grandfather. So I come from a line of entrepreneurs. With that being said, seeing that, I figured, hey, if I don't make $1 million, how do I save $1 million? Why no one spoke to my family? Why is he still working at 60 when he had his own businesses? Does that make sense? So my husband and I were always searching, and then we found this company just on the educational side, and we thought it was great. Not only that, by being an entrepreneur, what my dad was trying to leave for us as siblings, now I could leave it for my son. All he has to do is have his license, and now when I'm no longer here by making broker, I could leave it to him. So he never ever has to speak to a client, and he has the business that I put together for him. So I love the entrepreneur side of educating families on building and protecting wealth and being able to do it for my own. So that's why I'm out here trying to educate everyone, flying out here to help her educate her community and her family, because it's very, very dear to my heart since my family was left behind. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit regarding, there's 3 different boxes or 3 different locations the government allows you to save money. No matter what the fancy words are, no matter what the labels are, you can only save them in 3 different areas. Okay? So the first box is Tax Me Now box. Now this box here has your savings, checking, CDs, money markets, so on and so forth inside of this vehicle here. Now, of course, in this vehicle, everyone normally has savings and checking accounts. What we want to let you guys see how taxation works when you have your money inside these vehicles. So say if you have $1 and you leave that $1 inside of your checking account or even your savings account, and you leave it there for 20 years, that dollar is going to double every year for 20 years, and it's going to be 1 times 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so on and so forth, right? Just the money's just going to keep going, keep going, keep going for 20 years. Now, at the end of the 20 years, your money grows to $1,048,000. But that's before it's taxed. So when you hear people say, oh, I have $1 million in the bank, people like myself say, why? Your money's being taxed. It's not growing. When you put the money inside of your bank account, when you take it out, it's going to be that exact same amount. At the end of the year, when you get your 1099, it's going to show that same deposit money in there. Who in here makes a lot of interest off of their checking and savings account? Okay, I was just testing y'all. I was just trying to see, right? The reason why you do not, because it gets taxed. After it gets taxed, you actually walk away with $28,000 when it grew to $1,048,000. The reason is, every time your money's doubling, you guys see here? Every time your money's doubling, it's being taxed federal and state about 33%. And remind you, I'm from California, so I don't know if it's a little different out here. So the numbers might be a little off, some California based. But when it's being taxed, that's why you come out with this amount here. So the government knows that there was something wrong with that picture. So they're like, you know what, let's give them a better place to save their money. So what happened was, we have the tax me later, the deferred box. Now that normally comes from your employer, where you have the 401k, 403b, 457, PERS, STIRS, your traditional IRAs, so on and so forth inside this vehicle. Now mind you, every vehicle is good if you know the pros and cons, if you know the rules. It's no difference if you have a vehicle you want to go off-roading. You're going to get that right vehicle for off-roading, right? And if you have a vehicle that you want to just have a commuter car around the town, you're going to get one for the commuter car around town. So you're not going to mix the 2 vehicles up. So as long as you know what the vehicle's for, it's going to work in your favor. So we want to just educate you guys on the pros and cons of things. So inside of this box here, you have the 59.5 rule. If you were to borrow money before you turn 59.5, you have a penalty, plus you still need to pay income tax on that money. Is it the same thing out here in New York? Yes? Okay. All right, just want to make sure. All right, and then we have the 70.5 rule. When you turn 70.5, you don't take out the required minimum distribution, you have a 50% penalty, plus you still have not paid income tax on that money. So if anybody's in here like my grandmother, she had money. She didn't have to touch her money. But if you don't touch it, then you get penalized, and the reason why is because it's tax deferred. Uncle Sam wants his money. He lets you save it for 30, 40, 50 years, depends on how many years you're working, right? I started working at 16, so it depends on how long you've been working. Uncle Sam lets you go ahead and save that money. He's like, okay, now I'm ready to get my portion of it. So if you don't start taking that required minimum distribution, they penalize you 50% of what you should have taken out. You also have certain contribution limits. We know that these are government programs, right? So they're not going to have you get extremely wealthy off of the government programs. So they have it where some of them where you can only do $5,000, $6,000 a year. You could do a little bit more if you start after the age 50. You have some where if it's deferred comp, you could do $18,000 a year last year. Now they bumped it up to $19,000, a whole whopping extra $1,000. So you have $19,000 that you could do annually inside of these products. Certain income limits. If you have too much income coming in, you can't get a traditional IRA. They're going to bump you to a SEP IRA because they're going to say you make too much money. So when it comes to the tax me later, the things I like to ask my clients is, throughout history, do taxes normally go up or do they go down? So do we know while we're in retirement for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, do we know what our tax is going to be? Right. So therefore, we have the deferred comp. But as long as you know the rules, you'll be okay. I think people get a little upset when they're not educated, right?
Right.
When you go and you sign all those benefit packets when you're at work and they didn't tell you the pros and cons of what you're signing up for, right? So it's not an issue of, oh, it's a bad box on any of these. Everything has its purpose as long as you know how to play the game. So if the game is chess, we cannot go in playing checkers, right? So we just want to make sure everybody knows the pros and cons and learns about it. Then we have the tax advantage, the tax me never box. Now in this box, you have the Roth IRA, college 529 plans, municipal bonds, IULs, and VULs. Now inside of this box here, on the Roth IRA, which is the name of a product that pretty much everybody heard of and everybody knows. So the Roth IRA, you still have the 59.5 rule, but you do not have the 70.5 rule. You still have limits as far as how much you can put in and how much money you can make and so on and so forth. But in this box here, you don't have to worry about the taxation that's paid with after-tax dollars. So it has that tax shelter, that's why it's in that box there. The 529 plan, it is a market plan if you do not use it for college. If you use it for college, then it doesn't have to, you don't have to worry about taxation on it itself. Now when it comes to the IUL and the VUL is in the market product, so the cash accumulation side could go up and go down because it's in the market, right? And you have the IUL, which is the Indexed Universal Life. So when it comes to that, the IRS tax code is 7702A. So they give you a tax shelter code for that product right there. Now the forms of protection of an umbrella. So one side you have the investment side, the other side you have the life insurance side. Now in this product here, you have permanent life insurance, you have tax-free growth. So when you're ready to take out the money, you don't have to pay taxes. Remember, you paid with after-tax dollars. So therefore, you can have it without any issues. If you have $300,000 saved in here, $200,000 saved in here, even $100,000 saved in here on the cash side, you're able to take out that amount. Versus if you had it in this vehicle here, you haven't paid taxes yet. So you're not going to have the ability to take out the whole balance. So instead of $100,000, you have to minus the taxes. If you save $300,000, that probably you have to minus the taxes. So you just have to look at what would be best for you and your future and your family in itself. The great thing about this product over here as well is we have a floor and a cap. If the market does anything under -1%, -5%, -10%, you do not lose because this mirrors the market. It is not inside the market. You do have a cap of 12.5%, but if it's structured a certain way, we have certain products that have no caps at all, so you can take advantage of everything inside of the market. If you guys had the opportunity to start from scratch, and you got the education before you went to any job, before you sat down with anyone, and they told you the pros and cons on the tax me now, later, or never, and you have the option to save your money for your future retirement, to have supplemental income coming in, or it might be your only retirement coming in if you have a job that did not give you a 401k or does not have a pension. Which box would you guys pick? First, second, or third? Third? I heard some people try to do that.
Third.
Right?
Third.
You had to look at it again. I heard some S's and
Third.
Right. With the education, of course, everybody will go over here, you know. Let me paint a picture for you guys real quick. Promise it'll be a quick story. So let's say that you guys have a lot of acreage on your property, and you're tired of going down to the farmer's market or wherever it is to get your vegetables, and you're like, you know what? I need to find a better way. I'm tired of packing up the kids, the dogs, whoever, and going down to the farmer's market to get my stuff. Maybe I can go ahead and plant something myself. So you go down there and you look at everything, and you see some corn seeds, and you're like, you know what? Maybe I might just do the corn. And then if I do the corn, maybe I could sell it to the people in the neighborhood, so therefore I can make some additional income, and no one has to drive down to the farmer's market. So you look on back of the package, and the package tells you, you know what? You're going to get up in the morning, you're going to go out, you're going to plow, you're going to water, you're going to make sure everything's good, and then you're going to come in the house, you're going to eat dinner, you're going to go to bed, you're going to get up and do it again in the morning, and then you're going to come in, you're going to eat dinner, you're going to go to bed, you're going to get up and do it again in the morning, and do this for 30 years, and your life is set. You don't have to work anymore, it's going to take care of you, you're going to have some income, everything will be good. And you're like, I'll go ahead and she said, what's the point? I'm going to plant. Right? We have to finish the story, right? It sounds good. You're like, okay, I'm going to be taken care of, do it for 30 years, everything will be good, and then I could just relax. So you take it home. And you purchase it, you take it home, you're like, all right, I'm going to do it. So you get going. So you're like, okay, I'm out there, I'm plowing, I'm mowing. I'm plowing, I'm watering, I'm doing everything they told me to do. Now 30 years up, now I'm going to relax. So you get some knocks on the door. And you get some neighbors saying, hey, you got all that corn, can we buy it from you? We don't have to go all the way down to farmer's market, we just going to pay you, can we do that? You say, yep, that's what the package said. Now I'm going to have some money coming in, right? So then you get another knock on the door, and you're like, I told them, yeah, why they keep knocking on my door late at night? You know how we get, right? But this is a different knock. And you open the door, and it's Uncle Sam. Hey, I heard you bought some penny seeds. You planted some corn. Now you have $1 million harvest in your backyard. And you're like, yeah, and it's mine. I did everything the package told me to do, and I'll be taken care of. But you didn't pay taxes at the cashier when you bought those penny seeds. You're like, wait a minute. Your point is what? Well, now I'm here to collect because you didn't pay taxes yet. Now, would you rather pay taxes on the penny seeds or on your $1 million harvest? And the penny seeds is your paycheck. So if you pay taxes on your paycheck and then you pay with after-tax dollars inside of another vehicle, then when that vehicle grows to that $1 million harvest, guess what? You have access to that $1 million harvest without paying taxes again, because they're not going to double tax you. But only if they educated us and let us know. So when we go to those employers, we'll say, no, I might be good on this, or I might only give you this percentage to play with, but I'm going to diversify my portfolio and I'm going to put some money over here too. Because I'm going to want to have that money coming in and not have to worry about taxation, right? I already have inflation. Now I got taxation, so am I going to outlive my money? Or am I going to be able to have fun in my wonder years? Do I have to move in with my kids? Who wants to do that? Or am I going to have enough money to take care of myself, right? But we need the education. So that's why I'm passionate, because no one told my dad that. No one told my mother that, who, thank God, that with this business, because now I'm able to employ her. She still works full-time, but she's my assistant. I'm able to retire her in 3 years. Only because I found this, I'm able to educate, where we were able to redo her portfolio, redo my portfolio, my husband's, and so on and so forth. So education is good, right? Good. Now, when it comes to life insurance, people fail to realize life insurance is the oldest wealth transfer. A lot of times we want to stay away from it. A lot of times we say, if I talk about death, it's going to happen. Guess what? It's going to happen anyway, so we might as well be prepared and leave our family better, right? So life insurance itself is similar to purchasing a house or renting a home. No, purchasing a house or renting an apartment. Y'all got me, right? I was like all mixed up on that. So it's either renting an apartment or it's purchasing a home. I always like to say, since my father raised me when it came to the cell phone industry, it's like having a brick phone to a regular flip phone to now the smartphones are almost like computers. Everything evolves, right? So when it comes to life insurance, there's no such thing as a bad life insurance product. It's all about what is it going to do for you. Everybody has different goals, different lifestyles, what they want to leave to their kids, if they want to leave anything at all. Because I come across people that say, they ain't getting nothing, they didn't do what they were told. They're not getting nothing, just bury me, right? So we want to have options. Everybody wants different stuff. So when it comes to the beginning, you have term insurance, which is temporary insurance. You have 10, 15, 20, 30, 35-year terms. You have regular term, convertible terms, or return of premium terms. The great thing about this, it is low premium for what you want, but it's a term. So rather the term is over, then you have to pay more to keep that same face amount, or the term's over and you can't afford it and you no longer have insurance anymore, or you decrease that face amount so you will not be able to, you won't be able to leave the legacy that you possibly wanted to leave, or it might not cover the house in case you took out a second or a third, things of that nature or whatnot. So you just got to see if it works for you. It doesn't build any cash value, no equity, no tax advantages. It has a level death benefit, and then you have to requalify if the term expires only. Okay? A lot of times if people just keep the terms, 98% of them don't pay out if you just keep the terms and let it expire and you don't want to decrease the value, the face amount of that term. Reason why it is unless you know exactly the day that you're going to go, can you really say you're going to pass away in 10 years? Can you really say you're going to pass away in 30 years? We don't know. Especially if you're younger and you're a millennial, you really don't know when you're going to pass, so is that really a long enough term for you and what you want to do in your life? But it is something better than nothing. We just need to be educated on what things are. So the term is like if you have an apartment and you can't really afford to buy that house yet, but you still need a roof over your head. You still need to keep protection against the elements. So it's something right now, because something's better than nothing. Don't have the Cash App and have everybody send money to try to bury somebody. No GoFundMes, no fish fries, none of that kind of stuff, right? So something is better than nothing. But of course, the insurance spectrum is going to evolve a little bit. Now, when it evolves, the first type of permanent we have is normally with our grandparents, our great-grandparents, is a whole life or universal life. Now, this product is high premium. It is the first of its kind, so it's a high premium. You end up funding your own life insurance. You really don't get any cash value. It says about 3 to 4% interest rate. There's no cash value. That's no growth. It's not going to happen. The money is really pretty much going towards the insurance. But what I tell my clients is if you're not disciplined enough to have money put aside and know for sure if you pay this X amount, you have $30,000 to leave to the family, and some of it would be used for your burial or all of it would be used for your burial. If you cannot save the money yourself, no matter if you die at 30, no matter if you die at 90, then you need to go ahead and have the insurance company just hold that money for you. Because you know no matter what age you pass away, you're going to have coverage, okay? So it's not necessarily for the cash value side, it's because you're not self-disciplined to save enough money for your burial in the future, no matter what your age is. And then you have the same pretty much with the universal life itself. But since I said things evolve, right? So this is almost like having the brick phone to the flip phone. Now we have the smartphone / computer. That's like a little bitty thing, right? Smartphone is almost like a computer. It's like crazy. But when it comes to that, you have flexible premiums. So you actually have lower premiums than you do over here because they just made it a little bit better. The IUL is what I showed you guys that was in that last tax box. All those benefits of that last tax box there. So there's no need to requalify. The money's going to be there. You have cash value, you have equity, you have tax advantages, and you can have an increasing death benefit. So we can structure it in a way where, remember, if you save anything in here, you have access to it because you purchased it with after-tax dollars. So you don't have to worry about the taxation on that cash accumulation. Quick story, I have a client that their child wasn't going to get full scholarship, just partial scholarship. So instead of getting a 529 plan, they decided that they're going to go ahead and get an Index Universal Life. And with that Index Universal Life, they overfunded. They funded like crazy, so they had no cap. They was able to take advantage of the market with no problem. But their vision and their goal is that when the money's growing, when my child graduates, for about 6 months, I'm going to make payments in my child's name so my child just gets good credit once they leave out of that college and graduate. But all the interest, everything that they grew, they're able to go ahead and pay it off with no problem after the 6 months. So it's not like that child is going to keep that loan going. They just want to get that child some credit, but they overfunded and have enough money where they're going to pay off the college once that child graduates after the 6 months. That's tax-free money there. And also, if that child decided, I'm not going to go to college, guess what? It still stays tax-free versus the 529 plan goes into a taxation plan if you don't use it for college. So there's different benefits of why you get insurance. But the main thing is for burial and for that generational wealth. How many people here have been to a funeral, whether it's in your family or outside your family, and you know that they were able to lay that person to rest, but did anybody live better? A few people live better?
Yes.
Okay, great. Anybody else in here that's seen a few that they lived better where they left them a lot of money? Didn't have to pay taxes on it, no probate, no nothing, everything was gravy? Felt like they had inheritance? We don't have it enough in our community. And the oldest wealth transfer is insurance. The oldest is insurance. You can leave them the death benefit tax-free. So how would it feel that if you were to pass away and you have grandkids, and it's like, okay, I left that grandchild some money. I put that grandchild as a beneficiary, because you know, sometimes our kids don't act right to be that beneficiary. But we love the grandbabies, no. So we have the person that's a beneficiary, right? And then maybe we could buy their first house for them. Maybe we could be the first down payment. Maybe they could pay for that child to go to college, anything. Or maybe they could move out of that bad neighborhood. Generational wealth instead of generational poverty. We don't need to leave bills. Just pay a premium and let it be handled from the insurance company. That small premium that you're paying for someone in your family to get hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's a winning ticket. Even wealthy people have life insurance when they have large sums of money. Why? Because it's tax-free. If you leave them any cash, any property, you have taxation on that. It's the oldest wealth transfer, and we don't do it. When it comes to compound interest, this right here is just an example, just a concept. If you put 1,000 lump sum in a product, it just shows you how the power of compound interest works versus you have that 1,000 in there for 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, or 70 years. So when it comes to the 7-year slot, I always like to just think of the kids. If you had a newborn baby born today and you put it inside of a product, 70 years, the money grows to 30,000. You started with just 1,000, just for a concept to show you what compound interest does. If you were to get 10% instead of 5%, can anybody tell me what it would be in 70 years? 60? A lot of people always say 60,000. You guys ready? It's compound interest. Compound interest. Remember, the money's compounding. So the interest rate matters. I'm going to ask you guys, and don't be shy, if it goes 2% more, what do you think this number is going to be? Did I hear somebody say over $1 million? A few people say over $1 million. Anybody else got a guess? We're going to go with $1 million? Ready?
Woo!
2.7.
2.7 million.
Interest rates matter. And this is just an example of the compound interest. This is what we mean by diversifying your portfolio. You need to have things in place for certain reasons. You have to have a reason of why it's there. No difference than you have an emergency fund. You're not going to touch it until that emergency comes. You're not going to use it for anything but that emergency. So when it comes to any type of product, whether it's this product that would be used for your retirement supplemental, and you have insurance just for burial, or you have insurance just to leave a legacy, you need to have a reason why you're doing it, then it makes your investment easier to handle. No difference in you driving that nice car and everybody's like, why are you paying that much money? Because you love that car. It's important to you. So if you have a value of it, you're going to pay for it. When it comes to market risk, so this is similar to what we're saying that's in the middle market, in the middle tax box, whether it's your 401k, 457, your deferred comp, right? And then also just regular market base. People fail to realize how strong the loss is. When people go to Vegas, they always come back and tell you what they won. But they never tell you how much money they put in that slot machine or on that table. They never tell you the loss, they just tell you how much they won, right? Right. I came back with 1,000, but what you put in? They don't want to tell you what they put in. This is similar to that. They always tell you what good the market is up at the top, but what happened when the market lost as well. So we know when 9/11 hit in, what was it, 2001, right? When that hit. So it was about negative 48%, so close to 50% or whatnot. So if you start off with $100 and the market does negative 50%, you're left with $50. But then everybody wants to brag and be like, yeah, but the market came back up 50%. And normally, without giving all the answers up front, when I say if the market does negative 50%, you're down to $50, now it does a positive 50, normally my clients would jump up and say, so I made my $100 back. No, you didn't. 50% of $50 is $25. So you walk away with $75, so you still lost $25 here, even though the market did positive 50%. You guys get me? In order for you to get back even, not ahead, even, the market has to do a positive 100%. Now, if anybody could email me where the market did that once, twice, 3 times, awesome. But we know it ain't there, right? So we just got to know the vehicles. You got to understand you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's where the diversification comes from. That's where anybody that's wealthy, they'll tell you 7 streams of income, multiple different investments, different money coming from different places, diversification. Also, for the impact of loss, just to show you guys, if the market does negative 10, you need positive 11, negative 30, you need positive 43, negative 50, you need positive 100, just to get back even. Not ahead, get back even. So you want to make sure all your eggs, yet again, is not inside one basket. When it comes to retirement, a lot of times people retired on the 3-legged stool. Generational X and millennials don't have that 3-legged stool anymore. I can't do what my grandmother did. My mom can't do what my grandmother did. Those days are no longer here. So when it comes to Social Security, how many in here is living good just off of Social Security, or even getting a decent amount, or even getting it at all? You're getting it? Yes. And you're living good just with it by itself? No. Okay. A pension is there we go, right? There we go. So a lot of people don't have the pensions, they don't have the 401ks from their job, and they're thinking, okay, I'm gonna live okay. I don't know about out here, but I know Cali, we can't do nothing with that. And me, I'm only 42. I did my credits, but I ain't hold my breath. I ain't gonna get it. Not at all. And by me working for the sheriff's department, they're gonna penalize me anyway, so I'm not gonna even get it all. So I got a double whammy, right? So I can't do the 3-legged stool. So if you don't have the 3-legged stool and you can't live solely by itself on Social Security, the pensions are pretty good, but if the cost of living is going up and taxation, pensions aren't staying there. I know by law in California it's 2% raise that they could give you, but they only give you 1%. Inflation is 3% in California. I don't know, in New York, y'all kind of high too, right? Cost of living kind of, y'all not cheap out here. I be doing stuff, right? So y'all need to go ahead and outpace inflation as well. Who in here has enough personal savings to last you good 30 to 40 years during retirement? Right. So we need different products because we don't have this stuff, right? Yeah. So even if you guys are okay, how many people in your circle or in your family is okay? How many nieces, nephews, neighbors, anybody else in church that did not come? And y'all tell them that I noticed that they did not come. Y'all let them know this. But yeah, if they don't have this information, or if they're not doing as well off as you, or they keep bugging you and borrowing money from you, tell them they need to sit down with one of us and make it happen, because we cannot retire unless we make sure that we get at least 3 streams of income coming in here. Diversification for their stuff. If they're all still working, the people that you know, let them know when they retire that term group insurance is not coming with them. They can't wait until they retire. It's not going to work. They need to do it now. So if they're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, so on and so forth, they need to sit down. We need to get something, whether it's burial, whether it's leaving a legacy, whatever it is. Would you guys agree? Yeah. Would you guys agree the information, if you know the stuff, you'll be able to play chess when it's chess? If you know the rules, right? Taxation rules, what to do. If you have the knowledge, we can make better decisions, right? Options is the best. Options is the best. Well, that is all the slides. I want to thank you guys again for your time. I hope it was educational. If you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to let us know. Right after the pastor talks, we are going to go ahead and give out some cards so you can let us know what you guys thought, what was intriguing to you, and it's just a way for us to know how many people we spoke to. But are you coming up? Or?
He's going to come up. Can you put the lights on?
Yes. Lights.
What's your name again?
Barnabas.
Barnabas?
Barnabas, yes.
With a B?
With the B.
Okay. Now, I got his long name, and I cut it, so I don't want to mess up nobody's name.
All right, you guys, we have Mr. Barnabas that's going to come up, and he's going to explain the products that he has as well. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barnabas Bowie. I'm with Primerica. Today is a very good day. Why is today a very good day? Today we are learning how to protect ourselves, how to protect our families, where to put our money, how to invest it. The great thing about the presentation today was the presentation was so thorough, I don't have to show any slides. Because everything pretty much is repetitive once you know it. When you talk to successful people and you ask them, oh, I'm not rich because I don't know what they know. I didn't put my money when I was away when I was younger. But if you talk to them, they'll tell you, say, hey, I'm rich because I pay people who know how to make money, and they make me rich. So we need to learn how to make our money work for ourselves. So you don't have to know everything. You pay someone or you get someone who knows where to put your money and explain to you where your money's going, how your money is grown. So at Primerica, we're the largest financial institution in North America. We were founded in 1977 with about 5 million lives insured in North America alone. We have over 2 million clients with investments, over 2 million. We do business in Canada, Puerto Rico. Actually, our Pastor Mosley is one of my clients as well. We're listed on the Better Business Bureau with A+ rating. We're affiliated with all financial institutions. We can help you. It's a one-stop shop. So it's like when you're going to get your insurance, get your mutual funds, annuities, things that you may hear or may not know, we can explain. But what we do at Primerica, we come to you. We explain to you a one-on-one. We give you an analysis, a financial needs analysis. We sit down, we go over your finances, your debt. We show you how to get out of debt. We show you where to put your money, just as the previous presenter, exactly the same thing. We show you where to put it, how your money is going to work for you. We also give you an opportunity to earn some extra income as well. So it's not, so what we like to do is say, hey, if I could show you how to make an extra $1,500 extra a month, where would you put that money? What are some of the things that you want? What are your wants? Oh, I want a new car. I could, new clothes. I want to put it away for my kids, a college fund. We show you how to do that. So that's what we basically do. We protect our lives. We already know the importance of insurance. I don't want to, sound repetitive because I don't want to repeat a lot of the things that were said because you've done a really great job. But insurance is a necessity, especially in our communities, because we're trying to figure out, well, why are we staying at this level? Or, what are we lacking? It's not that we don't have the money. We spend more money than any other ethnic race in the world, in the entire world, on less income. We have more Mercedes, Benz, BMWs, Jaguars, Lamborghinis, off of a $100,000 income because we know how to get what we want.
That's right.
But when we die, what ends up happening? You got that $1 million, $2 million worth of debt. Your family can't afford all the things that you have, so all that stuff is lost. You didn't have anything in place. You heard earlier. It goes to the state. The state will decide where your money goes because you didn't put anything in place, right? So that's the importance of having insurance. If you had a toaster in your house and it was making you money, $2,000, $5,000 a month, would you put insurance on it? Yeah. You're that toaster. You understand? You bring in the money. You bring in that money every month. You need to put insurance on yourself. We put insurance on our cars. What are we paying? $200, $300, $400 a month? Right? On average. A $200 policy, that's over $500,000 worth of coverage. Over $500,000 worth of coverage. Easily if something would have happened to you. If you were to go, your car would still be there when you die. That payment would still be there. But that same $200, if you had life insurance, now you left the legacy behind. And you're not just, you don't have to worry about your burial costs, but you left something behind for your kids or whoever. Also, if I could just talk a little bit about the differences as far as what our life insurance policy is. We're not the cheapest, but we would like to say we're the best. Of course, there's a lot of competitors out there, and I don't put anyone down, and we all heard the difference between whole life. Even if it's the first time you've heard this, whole life policies, universal whole life policies, term, permanent, we explain to you what those policies are. We provide you what we have, and if it's beneficial for you, then we advise you to go and get it. But this is what this is what we have. Our policies have a living benefit, so just stay at a basic $200,000 policy. We like to say that people want to have more coverage, so we have a living benefit. So yeah, I may want $1 million policy, but I can't afford $1 million policy right now. Right? So we start you off at $500,000 policy. And for example, your policy increasingly goes up for the 10 years, 10%, until you reach that $1 million, and your premium will go up a few dollars every single year until you get $1 million, or you can opt out at any time that you want to within those 10 years. And you may stop at $750,000. Say, hey, my premium's at $225. I think I want to cap out right here. It'll stay that way for the rest of the term. And we also have at the end of the policy, or at the end of the term, we have where your premium stays the same, duration stays the same, but of course your not cash value, but your death benefit gradually comes down. Because what we like to do is we like to get you covered, especially when you're younger. When you're younger, you have house, cars, kids are young, you know, you have college looking for, so you have a lot of that. So you need a lot of coverage at the beginning. At the end of your life, your kids are grown, mortgage paid off, you know, you don't need as much life insurance on yourself, but if you invest when you're younger, as you can see, as your money grows to 12%, with the rule of 72, what she was explaining is the rule of 72, which is how long it takes for your money to double. Now, they don't teach you that in school, but it's one of the most important things that we should all have learned. And as you can see, between the previous slide, just for example, you know, just having $10,000 in a fund. So just say, for instance, hey, I want to give my grandson, he just born, $10,000. I'm going to put it in a fund. Over the 43 years, that $10,000, without having to put another dime when that kid is 43 years old, and now he's married, and now, you know, he's thinking about kids, he would have $2.5 million just at that 12% rate over the course of time. Because the stock market, yes, it goes up and down, but it always, it's going to go up. It's going to come down, it's going to come down again, it's going to be another, but over the course of time, it keeps going up, So that's what we, also about our policy, we have as far as disability, if you were, what's called a waiver of premium. So if you have an insurance policy with us, if for some reason you become disabled, you still have to make your premium payments for 6 months. Therefore, after the 6 months, you get refunded your premium in the policy. You will never have to make a premium payment and you'll be covered. That's another great option that we have as far as with the national benefit life insurance. So your policy can double over the course of the 10 years. You have the end option where the premium payment stays the same through the duration of your life. You also have the waiver premium. If something were to happen to you when you get disabled, you will not have to make any premium payments after the 6 months, and you get refunded. The policy pays for itself. So on that note, I want to thank you guys for coming out here, just being aware of your financial situation, our financial situation, coming out, learning about finances, where to put your money, how to protect your family, how to educate our family. And I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm excited.
Amen.
And I want you to be excited as well. I want you guys to leave here with more knowledge than you did coming, because it's great when you learn something new every single day. And thank you very much. I hope to see you guys later on. If you have any questions, I will be downstairs. I have my table, like I said. And we can get started. Okay? Thank you very much.
Amen. Has this been worth your time thus far?
Oh, yes.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
yes,
Amen.
yes.
Here comes the part where it's very beneficial for us. One of the greatest problems in our community is the fact that our credit is not the best. Amen? Amen. Some missed payments here, house payment problems, layoffs. We can't avoid problems happening in our lives that cause us to have issues with our payment history. But what happens is it seems to accumulate over years, and it seems like there's nothing that we can do to clean up our credit. And what they do is, when we have bad credit, they give us higher interest rates.
Yes.
We pay more. We don't get what we want. We get what somebody else chooses for us.
Yes.
And I believe that that time is over, because we can do something. We can be proactive about what we do with our finances and with our credit. So with that said, I have forms here that help us that are going to help us clean up our credit. Can I get somebody to help me pass these out? Just to share. Thank you. Okay. Amen. And if you don't need them, I know somebody, you probably know somebody who needs them. Amen? So, And this information, this is free. Folk will charge you for this information. So this information here is free on today. It is just a part of the ministry that we're doing here at Hope Missionary Baptist Church. We feel like if we educate our community and our people, it will make a better Central Islip. Amen? Amen. So what we have here, I have here the Hope Missionary Baptist Church Financial Freedom Workshop, credit repair forms. And what we have on page number 2, these are the instructions on how to fill out this paperwork. Do you see that? And where you are to send the information to. So the instructions are to add your name, your address, your birthday, and social security number to these letters so they can locate your files. You're not sending it to the church, you're sending it right to the credit bureaus, okay? So they already have your information, so you just want them to be able to locate your information. Number 2, you send these letters by certified mail. Why is that? Because the credit bureau gets over 10,000 letters a day. This way they cannot claim to have not received your mail. You got that? So it has to be by certified letter. Number 3, send a copy of your ID with your current address and a utility bill with your current address. Why? Because if you don't, they can prolong the process by asking that you provide identification documents. So it's important that you supply identification documents with these letters. Sign your letters. Number 4. Amen? Okay. 6, sign up for a free account at creditkarma.com. Everybody has access to the internet? Yes. Creditkarma.com. You can check your credit score as often as you want without any hits coming to your credit report. All I got to do on my phone is hit my thumbprint after I go into Credit Karma, and I can see what the credit scores are. And it does not affect your credit score. You also can see on Credit Karma, people who have all your accounts. You can see your credit collection accounts, and they also can show you if you're late on payments and how late you are. Okay? Information, when we have information means obligation. So we can look at what we need to clean up and what we need to put on these letters, because sometimes people put things on your credit that don't go on your credit, that could be negatively affecting your credit. And that's what we're trying to get off of our credit, okay? So you sign up for creditkarma.com. Number 6, use the master plan to build a new positive line of credit while you wait for your results to maximize your credit score. Okay? And so here we have the address for Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, backup TransUnion address, and a few more. So if we go to page number 4, what I have provided for you is a sample way to fill out the form. So I have the date as today. It should be today, but I have the name here as Hope Missionary. The address is 100 Lemon Street. The city state is Zip, Central Islip, New York, 11722. It says attention TransUnion Dispute Department, and it gives you so forth. But let's go down to the examples of how you should construct this section. What you put on there is the credit collection services and the account number that you want. So if it's, let's say if it's Verizon, account number, your exact account number. And the issue that you have, here we got a few issues. The high balance reported is incorrect. Please delete. You have to put that in there, okay? Another one is the account status is inaccurate. Please delete. The third one, I never paid late on this account. We know we don't pay late, amen? But nobody that's late is delinquent up in here, But for those who you know, because since we don't pay late, amen, we are sent to the credit bureau. I never paid late on this account. Please update it to paid. And once you do, you can put your different accounts on one form. If you write small, you can send them all off at the same time. So now on pages 5, 6, and 7, you have forms that you fill out. And if you need more, send me an email or a text or call me, and we'll get you more forms. So the date, you put the date, your name, your address, the city, state, and zip code. This is for TransUnion. You go through your accounts to see what's wrong. You put the information in the space provided in the middle. You then sign your name. You print your name, your social security number, and your date of birth. And remember all the information that needs to go with your forms. And you go, then you sign up for creditkarma.com and you monitor to see what's happening. Are there any questions, concerns, or anxieties? Well, you got to pay your bills. But for those things that may be incorrect on your credit report, you want to get those things off so that's not negatively influencing you. So right now, when we're done, if you want some help, we want to go through the forms. I know that the Women of Hope are preparing to meet, but what we can do, we can go downstairs. If you got any questions, Brother Bowie will be down there about life insurance, and one of the things he did say is that I am a client. Yes, I am a client. And the reason why I chose to go with them was because of the product. Because since I have children, I have to make sure if something happens to me today, that my two oldest can finish up college. And that my youngest, who is still in high school, has money enough to get through high school and to get through college. And the good thing about what he offered me versus other companies, my death benefit will increase. Don't nobody get no ideas. Don't nobody get no ideas, but it increases. But what that would end up happening is that if something happens, you have enough money to bury me, but it's enough money to leave a legacy for the family to build upon. Because you got to think of things such as the house might need to be paid off. The cars might need to be paid off. Some bills might need to be paid off. And you want your family to be able to take care of those things comfortably and then be able to live comfortably when you're gone. And I was taught this not by Brother Bowie, I was taught this by my father. Because my father, he did the exact same thing. And he talked to me, he said, Larry, this is what it is. And I said, I don't really need to hear all of that. But lo and behold, after preaching one night, he had a heart attack and passed away. And he left enough to be able to take care of my sister and I, and even get my sister through school. So it's important to help to leave a legacy or a nest egg for your family. It's not important for us to spend it all up now. We want to enjoy our lives, but we want to make it. We're not going to be here always. Because when we are Christian folks, we're looking forward to going to heaven. I got quiet. But we're not going to be here always. And we want to leave something for our families. We want to leave something so that they're not struggling when we're not here anymore. So it's important to think about these things. A few dollars today will help your family tomorrow. Amen? Amen. So we don't have any more questions. We don't have any questions. We're going to step downstairs. Like I said, we'll sit downstairs. If you got any questions about the forms, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. And I want us to understand that this is part of ministry. Some people think it's all the preaching and hooping and hollering and singing, but we need to make sure that the needs in the pews are taken care of. And I talked about this last year. One of the ways to make our churches better is to make sure that our people are better. to make sure that the needs are taken care of. And one of the greatest needs that is needed in our community is finance. It's not that we're glorifying finance or we're making finance our God, but we need to be taken care of and be comfortable too. So it behooves you to take advantage of these opportunities to become better financially. Amen? So with all that said, let us get ready to pray ourselves out. I'm going to ask the chairman of our deacon board, Deacon Emerson Woods, to come up here and pray us out. And there are refreshments downstairs. Amen.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that we have heard, all that was said and done. We pray, oh God, that everything that was said and done glorifies you as we move forward in our lives and trying to straighten out things that are not right. We pray your blessings upon those who came and gave us the information that we need, that we will use it to your glory, that we will use it for the benefit of our families. Bless us and keep us and give us traveling mercies as we go home. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.